try to not cover the, who the hell is that? Try to not cover the microphone this time. Here we have, here, 1992 Volvo 244 to be exact. So we'll do our once around and then we'll go back through and do our twice around. That is not my plate, by the way, so if you try to look it up, you're not going to find me. That was the plate of the person I bought it from. Note that this doesn't say 240 DL or have any sort of a indication of the trim package. It just says 240. So there's your once around. It looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and do your twice around, and I'll show you that it doesn't actually look so great, although it still does. So, got a little ding there. The hood is horribly misaligned. You can see its gap is it's huge here, and if we go over here, it does the opposite. Gets large here. Got a little bit of a chip there we gotta fix. These hinges are kind of known for popping up and not being straight. You can see the hood is misaligned here. We got a large gap there, goes to a smaller gap there. Of course we have some trim pieces that have come off. We got a bit of a ding there. This is a bit bent. I do believe this has at some point hit something. But this trim piece is still there, which is nice. This one's okay, though. All the trim on the side is still here. You're going to see I have to get new window scrapers because that'll let water into here. The power window on all of these do still work, although I had to unseize this one because it had water in there. You can see this one's got the worst window scraper of them all. It's completely gone. Most of them are still here, but mostly gone. Now we've got what I like to call grandma scrapes back here. Somebody scraped up against something, and it is a bit dented here. It kind of is here. You can't really see it, but you can feel it. This can come off, this black, and I guess that needs to be glued or something. We got a ding here. So that's great. This is a piece that was in the door. And the trunk, we got a bit of a ding here. Somebody backed into something or over something, as I'll show you in a second. This is a single stage paint, so there's no clear coat to come off. It's not in the best of shape, but it's not horrible. The car is very straight, though. This piece of trim has been replaced, and it's off of an older model. You can tell because this one has this car is supposed to have these black trim pieces, but this is a chrome trim piece. This came off of my other 240. You can see it's a darker color, or lighter color than those. It's just faded. This, by the way, is not paint coming off. This is where there was a sticker, some sort of plastic. It'll come off, though. The taillights on this car, and this is something you never see, actually work. That doesn't want to close all the way. Probably bent. It has the original green gas cap to signify you're supposed to use unleaded fuel. Of course, in the US, green means diesel, but everywhere else it doesn't. Once again, on this side, we need window scrapers. This one's not too bad. IPD sells a kit. They're like $60, which I think is way too much for some little pieces of rubber, but in the long run it's really not that much. This mirror, I glued it. You can see where I glued it there, because it was falling down. I don't think, not the guy that had it originally, but the guy I bought it from, or the other way around or something. Somebody wasn't that great of a driver, because I hit something on the front, and then they backed over something, and I'll show you. I don't know if this is separate or if this was part of that too. I mean, it's not that bad if you're not looking at it from a downward angle. But the butt cheek here is, you can see it's been smacked there. So I'll probably ignore that. I could get something and bend it back out, but I mean, the tire still fits in there, so it doesn't really matter too much. But that is like that. There's a split here, which is under the bumper. But what I need to do is where all the paints come off, at least on the outside, is get some touch-up paint or something like right here, because that will start rusting, and you don't want that. Main thing, somebody, I don't know, I think they backed over something, but it ripped off the muffler. I don't know how much you can see there, but the muffler is ripped off. Then here's the other side of the butt cheek here. The other one's good on the other side, but you can see the muffler was taken off. But these cars have two mufflers, so it should be okay. Even though this doesn't have to pass emissions inspection, it only has to pass safety in North Carolina if it's over 20 years old, so shouldn't matter anyway. This is the original spare, and then of course you have this thing to go over it. Although the one for my other car has a nice pocket in it, this doesn't have that pocket. It's just a cover. And I got the original Volvo jack that somebody didn't know how to use. If you don't know how to use these, there's actually under the car, there's a spot. They bent that too. But under their car there's a spot here, and that hook hooks into this, and then it stays. But you can see under the car, maybe you can't see, there you go. There's the other muffler, and there's the catalytic converter. Under the car is very solid. There's no rust. In fact, it still has its factory undercoating under most of it. As you would expect, these things don't, I don't know. If you're in the Rust Belt, do these have issues with rust? I know Toyotas do. Anyway, as I was saying, the tail lights, although when I got it, one of the turn signals wasn't working. The tail lights in this car must have been recently replaced, because they actually still work. And even this little circuit board thing that normally fails isn't failed yet. Yet being the key word. These things last about 5 years before you have to either replace the whole tail light or do what I did on my other car and just solder the wires directly onto the bulb holder and wire directly in, bypass all that whole circuit board stuff. But the lenses on these lights look really nice. This is just a little bit of tape. I mean, obviously they're not, they're made in, I can't even read that, Estonia? Never heard of it. Anyway, tail lights look good. There's no water or anything in them, which is the first thing that starts happening. Trunk liner, nice and clean. Of course, the springs are still good on this. They're gas shocks, so sometimes those go bad. And this has this nice light, which actually when you close the trunk it goes off. So, always when you're buying a car, if you see stuff like this, question it. Okay? We see that there's a whole thing of coolant here, so we know that it either uses or leaks it or something. And then we see a whole thing of oil here, so we know it's either leaking or burning oil. I'll explain all of that in a second. Other key things, radiator cap, once again, somebody's been chasing a leak. I will get to that in a second because I see what it is. We have some sort of a relay here. It's a turn signal relay, I think. We have a socket with a bottle cap over it for some reason. That might be for changing the oil, I don't know. We've got some springs, and these springs are actually out of the driver's seat, which I'll show you in a minute. It has the typical support failure that they get. And then we have a new vent. Now this is nice because the vent, this is the driver's side vent. It's messed up. The thing, this door, you know, that you turn this little wheel here and it opens and closes this blend door here. It's actually broken, so got the new vent there. And of course this is your factory Volvo toolkit. That's a nice thing to have. And then here's like some sort of spark plug wrench. It's got some stickers on it too. This sticker was apparently the original owner of this car was in that band. And then that's kind of neat. And then this round one here, if you can very faintly see, I don't know if you can on camera, 100,000. That's one of those old Volvo high mileage club stickers. Another cool thing about this car I kind of like is if you look at like all the 240 logo and the Volvo logo, it's all black. And I think that, and around the windows and stuff, this is all black. I think that actually contrasts the white pretty good. I'm not too big of a fan of white cars like that. Wow, that car, I mean, this does nothing for me. I mean, it's just too round and whatnot. This car in white, honestly. And all the black accents are good. Let's see, since we're pointing out all the problems with this car, we're missing the splash guard, which I was going to pull off the other car, but then I decided not to because I figured I could find, I looked, I could find one on IPD, and shipped here it's like $20-some, sorry, $70-some, God damn it, 68, I think it was. You can see we have a IPD sway bar installed, which is very nice. You can see some more evidence of somebody running into something here. And while we are on this subject, this rear bumper, if somebody could tell me what in the hell's going on here, this is interesting. There are a bunch of little circles in here. See them? They're all the same. Bunch of little circles. Looks like somebody was backing into something or something and they did it the same thing 100 different times. I don't know. Antenna's a bit loose. I guess I'll pop the hood and show you in here. Oh, there's my keys. That's great. The hood cable, the cable that goes in there to release the hood, needs replacement. So right now we have this, which is nice. Hood springs are still in good shape. You see here, there's oil under here and over there. So remember how I was saying if you see oil jugs or antifreeze jugs or something in the trunk of the car, it's generally a sign. Well, this car has a valve cover gasket leak, and it's a bad one. There's oil, it's liquid oil, it's not like old residue, it's actively leaking, it's liquid. You can see the oil, it's all over these lightning hoses and all down here. Of course, valve cover gasket is very easy to replace on this car. You just got to pull the lightning hoses off and just take these bolts around here off and take this off, put a new gasket on there, put it back on, proper torque spec, which in my case is just good and tight, and you fixed your valve cover gasket leak. So I can do that myself. That's easy, so that's not as big of a problem as it would be on something, you know, more modern, like probably that. Water pump, once again, I'm not completely sure. I'm going to get something and degrease all of this and drive it around for a while before I start replacing things. But you can see there's a bit of a leak there, it looks like, and it does taste like antifreeze, so don't taste fluids. But they develop a leak right up in here, a very common thing for the 240, so I wouldn't be surprised. I bet that is the case. However, coolant level is fine, it's not low, so Although I think it is slightly... No, it's up to here, so it's almost to max. So it's good. This has the 75 kPa cap on it, which is the correct one. But other than the valve cover gasket leak, which makes everything look wet, oily, and dirty, the engine actually looks pretty good. Everything is clean, except for that, like I said. And it's got fairly new parts on it. Like I said, it's got a new IPD sway bar. The fluids look good. The transmission fluid in this car, which is the thing that really is concerning to most people. Look at that. Doesn't look that good on camera. It looks darker on camera. This camera kind of distorts things. Oh, no, I gotta put that back in there. But I promise you, the fluid is still a nice, light, transparent red color, which is what you want it to be. This car has ABS, which is interesting. You know, the stop later juice looks pretty good. I don't know what's going on here. It looks like almost a vacuum line that was disconnected. I believe this is the cruise control module. I'm not sure. I gotta do some digging into that. I don't know how old this battery is. Sometimes it sounds like it's a bit weak starting, but I got a new battery, whatever. Of course, being a 92, this has the newer style AC system. It doesn't use 134A, but it's been converted to it, and supposedly it's been converted properly, but I can't really tell you. When I get this valve cover off, I'll make a video of doing that. We can tell more, but it looks nice and clean in there, so I don't believe that it's been neglected. And this was, from my understanding, the original owner gave it to his kid or something. I don't remember, but pretty much it was owned by the original people who bought it up until the guy who I got it from got it, and that was only about a year ago. So, you know. And here you go. Timing belt was changed. It was 2018, but it was at 217,000, and it's only at 240 something right now. So that shouldn't be bad. I'll leave this open so you can hear it run. Now here's where this car is actually pretty nice. Well, it's not bad, but you know, it's a little rough around the edges, but that's just negotiating power, because it's nothing that can't be done easily and cheaply. The interior, now it's a bit dirty now. God, none of that brown that's showing up on camera is here. I don't know what the deal with this camera is. It takes the bad out in things. It's got the darker blue color interior. The camera's making it look very faded, but it's not. Now, I love this color interior. Headliner's good. The dome light works. You can see in here, it's very clean. The dash is not all cracked up. It does have one little crack back there. But other than that, nothing. This, of course, being a 92, has the nicer speakers. You can tell they were an afterthought, because this is where the original ones fit, but there you go. See this vent here? It doesn't close and open when you turn this, so I got the new vent. And here's something you probably, and I say probably because I really don't know, see much. In fact, let me dump that out. Original Volvo floor mats specifically designed to fit this car. Got those all around, and they're in good shape. Got a little bit of a cigarette burn or something in this seat. And like I showed you those springs, it's got the typical, the support in the seat. You can see how it's kind of sagging here. The thing comes apart. You can buy a new one from IPD. You gotta pull the seat out though. Also on this car, the door handles are black. I don't know if that's original, but they're not. They're black. All the doors open and close real good. I say that, and then this one binds. There we go. Once again, original floor mats. Look at this back seat. I don't believe anyone, I mean, I'm sure somebody sat back here at some point, but look at this. And of course, once again, we have the rear seats here, or sorry, rear speakers. All these doors were very tight and didn't want to open and close when I got the car. Once again, that's just more negotiating power, because all I had to do was put some WD-40. We still got the center thing, still got your ashtray. Back one doesn't look like it's been used. The front one was full of cigarette butts, so somebody's been smoking in here, but it doesn't smell anything like cigarettes. Once again, these seats are in really good shape. And the headliner's in good shape as well. Of course, it's got some dirt and stuff, but this is vinyl, so you can just wipe it with Windex or whatever. Listen to this. That's just solid. Go over to the other side here. You can see that this was silver and it's been sprayed black. Or, yeah, not silver, but chrome. I don't know if somebody sprayed it black or what. Honestly, I don't know about chrome and white, though, so I kind of like the black. So if somebody sprayed that black, I think that was in pretty good taste. I'm normally not a big fan of people modifying things like that, but I think that was pretty good. Oh, well, I'll tell you if it's original right now. Let's go look at the other one. See, this car has chrome all around the back window and stuff, which I do like, but I don't know. This is black too. And you can tell it is chrome that's been painted black, so that's factory. But the door handles are chrome on this one. But see, with the white, I think the black actually looks pretty good. So I can't really tell you if the door handles have been painted or not, but I think the thing around the windows were like that originally. I got the Volvo on-call stickers. Of course, back here, this rear carpet is in bad shape. There's a guy who sells that on eBay. It just kind of sits over this, but it's cut to fit the 240, and you can get it in this color, so I'll probably do that. The car came with a hat, so that was nice. You can see once again, very clean interior, very good shape, all the seats and stuff. It's unfortunate about that little small hole in the driver's seat, but I'm not going to complain about it. Once again, we have the original Volvo floor mats that match the color of the interior, and the carpet, I know all you can see is black, but the carpet is in immaculate shape. Of course, we're going to need window scrapers all around, but I can buy those from IPD. The door pocket things have been removed. I removed those on my other 240 as well. That's a very common thing to do. Once again, we can see down here, you can't, but I can. We have the original floor mat and very clean carpet. Very clean seat. And even the dash is in good shape. Glove box works, although I don't have the key for it, so it's good that it's not locked. And, of course, I have my fuel pump relay, bulbs, and fuses, because if you don't have those things and you're driving a Volvo 240, you're going to be stranded or stuck somewhere without lights at some point. So, I guess without further ado, I'll go ahead and fire it up here. Have the original Volvo key. Only came with one. This is the owner's key, by the way, not the valet key. You can tell because it will open the trunk. Oh yeah, the trunk doesn't like to close. You got to kind of really close it good. Once again, sort of a misalignment issue there. That could be because this is a bit bent, though. But the hood's not bent or anything. It's just misaligned because of the way these hinges get. So we'll come back in here. And the gauge cluster, I've seen this on other 240s. It has this white stuff in here. I don't know what it is, but it's some sort of crap that gets in here. So that's interesting. Odometer worked when I got the car, but I broke it. I reset the odometer, and it didn't reset, and it didn't move again. So it was working when I got it, but it's not now. Very common issue, that gear in there snaps, so I got to replace that before I drive it too much, because I at least want the mileage to be right. Once again, all the pieces of plastic in here stuff, we've got a little bit of broken plastic behind the door here, but I mean even up here, around the window, in the back, the, you know, typical seatbelt plastic there is broke, and this, as typical, a little bit broke around here. But for the most part, the plastic in this car is very intact, which is kind of rare. Anyway, as I was saying, I got the original Volvo key. I need to get another one, though. Go ahead and cut it on, and you can see some of the lights are missing. The SRS light is missing. The ABS light is there, but it's intermittent. And, let's see, that's the high beam light, so that's there. Then we got the brake failure light. And then we got the bulb out indicator light. So all the ones that are really important are there. But when I pull this out to fix the odometer gear, I'm definitely going to get the bulbs there to replace those. I did switch all the bulbs around, you know, move them around just to see what was on. The lambda light is not on. The SRS light is on, and the ABS light is not on. So we have an airbag light. Oh yeah, this thing has airbag. Listen to this horn. Sounds like a damn train. The airbag light is on, so I might just leave that out and pretend it's not on, because, well, my other 240 doesn't have airbags. I don't plan on crashing it, and I don't really think that you even need an airbag. Oh yeah, I was going to start the car. I haven't done that yet. I wanted to show the engine. The motor mounts in this thing are actually pretty solid still. Starts right up. It has to crank about maybe 5 times that was. I'm not sure. Probably not that much. But the point being, it didn't take a long time to crank or anything. You can see here the taillights are indeed working. I'll go ahead and put the hazards on. All of those are working too. So I don't know how long they will work for, but at this point the taillights are working without requiring modification. So that is really nice. The plate lights are both working, and getting a 240 with working lights is like half of the fight. But all the lights are indeed working. Headlight lenses are a little bit fogged up, but not bad. Sounds pretty good. There's a bit of a, if you can hear towards the back of the engine, there's sort of a bit of a tapping. For one, I know that the valve cushion things that these cars have are indeed worn down. That happens on every 240. It was just like that on my other one. My other one sounded exactly like this, and the 79 that I had sounded exactly like this as well. So that's not too much of an issue. This engine does not have any excessive piston slap or anything like that, which is generally the noise that you start hearing on these engines. Even once they get those, even once they get that, I mean, they can run another 300,000 miles, but, you know. But what I'm getting at is the engine sounds pretty good at this. It does need a valve, you know, the valves adjusted. Might sound like a bit of a knocking, but if you're used to these 240s, you know, I promise you there is nothing terribly wrong with this engine. We've got, good, I'll pop this off. You can see no excessive blow-by. The oil cap will balance right on there. Yeah, there you go. Oil cap will balance right on there. So crankcase pressures are good, which is a common problem with these. This has the, I don't know if it was like this from the factory or if this was redone. I know IPD sells a kit to do it, but the flame trap is right in there. Right there, you just got to pop it off, and I looked at it, and the flame trap is clear. So that's another sign that the car's been maintained pretty well. And like I said, the muffler's chopped, so it does make, or not chopped, but it's just gone. That's not smoke, by the way, if you look at how quickly it dissipates. That's just because it's cold out here. So, engine runs good. You can hear that has quieted down now. It just takes it a little bit, and I believe it has some excessive valve lash on one of the back cylinders. a piece of the door, or inside of the door. All of the windows work, like I mentioned. This one was seized. I took it apart. I was fully expecting to have to pull a motor out of the other 240, the back door, but it started turning, or trying to turn. I could hear it when I was pressing the button because I was going to measure. So I greased everything up, and now it sounds pretty good. You can see it's not laboring or anything. That one's a little slow. Like I said, those window scrapers keep water from getting into these mechanisms. The only one I really greased up was the driver's side. So all of those could probably use a little bit of a greasing up. It's got a pretty nice Kenwood radio in it. I would have rather had the original Volvo radio, but here you go.
She'll lay you on the throne. She got that day beside. She'll take it.
So those are the original Volvo speakers. I don't plan on blowing them up, so, you know, but they sound pretty good. AC in this car. So when the AC's on, the compressor comes on, the condenser gets warm, and I can feel the tube going into the evaporator. It gets cold. The heater control valve in this car, once again, has to be replaced. Another piece of negotiating power, because even when it's on, I'll get to that in a second, even when it's on cold, it still is hot. Now this is the worst thing about the car. Listen to the blower motor. Yeah, that blower motor's on its way out. Hopefully it'll last a little while, because I don't want to have to pay to get, I just, you know, if you have a 240, you know the blower motor is a huge damn problem. It's not something I would even try to tackle. But other than that, it's a very solid car. I can't go too far. I'll go around the neighborhood just to show you it does move. Oh yeah, it's gonna need suspension work. All of the bushings and everything, ball joints, all that have been redone. Got a new sway bar. But the actual struts themselves are going to have to be done. But that's not immediate. All the safety concern things have been replaced. But you can hear it. Bit of squeaking there. Brakes in this car feel real good. This thing shifts amazing. I mean, it's so smooth. My other 240, it shifted smooth, but I mean, you can barely feel this thing shift. I mean, you can hear it, but you can't really feel it. So you can see it's at 665 now. The odometer will not move. But if you listen, brakes are good, but you know, it rolls easy. Hear how smooth that shifted? I mean, you can't even feel it. I mean, this thing, I don't have the plate car registered. I'm going to do that on Monday. It's Saturday right now. So the fastest I've had this car up to was about 50, 45, 50 going through the neighborhood here. So, unless there's something terribly wrong at high speeds, which I don't see there being, especially since the guy drove it to our house. I didn't even ask him to deliver it. He just said, hey, I'm going to deliver the car. It's like, oh, okay, that would be great. So, he did. So, yeah. But, I mean, you can hear there's no clunking or anything when I'm hitting bumps or anything. All the bushings and everything are good. Got this nice tight turning circle that these cars have. You would think just looking at it, it has a bad turning circle, but they don't. And I'm trying to film, but I'm also trying to look where I'm going, so I'm sorry, but I would much rather not crash and get a bit of non-perfect video than get perfect video but end up in a ditch. So the filming is what it is. I need to get myself some sort of like GoPro or something and tie it up here, or you know, get a window mount or something. But yeah, and it's not excessively loud either, even with that post muffler thing missing. We've got 5W30 in it right now. It's supposed to have 10W30, but it doesn't. So I do need to change the oil, but I was looking at the oil change sticker. That's what made me think of that. These cars recommend 10W30, which is what I used in my other ones. It was fine. 5W30 for colder climates, but that would be like really colder climates. Around here, 10W30 is the right thing to use. But of course, look at your owner's manual for that. Volvo only wants you to change the oil in these cars every 10,000 miles. We're still going to do 5,000 miles because that's what I did on the other car, and that's generally what you want to do with standard non-synthetic oil. So that's what we're going to do. Because I think 10,000 miles on a car that's 30 years old and has 250,000 miles on it, I don't think that you really want to do that. Probably wouldn't hurt it. These engines are overbuilt, understressed for these cars, but still don't want to push it. Once again, you can hear how there, it went into third, and I mean, you can't even feel it. I mean, my other car I thought was smooth, the other 240. This thing, and it has so many more miles, I don't understand it. This is a 93, that's a 89, but I mean, they're both the B230F engine with the AW70 Aisin transmission, so it should be the same. And now we'll hear all this squeaking that this car does. Yeah. Once again, negotiating power. Nothing that can't be fixed, but definitely negotiating power. And once again, oh, I don't want to power off. You can see the hood thing, these hinges are kind of known for this. I don't know why they do that, but they're known for this. And the hinges need to be replaced, and the hood kind of needs to be rotated this way. So, there's that. Now if we look, I bet you we can see some more ice cube juice coming out of the water pump. Yeah, see if we got a little bit of, well, you can't see it. Got a little bit of ice cube juice coming out of that water pump there. So, that's going to need replacement. Once again, parts for these cars are incredibly easy and inexpensive to come by. So, I'm nervous about leaving a 240 closed with the keys in it, because my other 240, and they're kind of known for their door lock wiring problems. My other one, the day that we bought the car, closed it with the keys in it. It was unlocked, but the wiring for the door locks was a bit screwy. Closed the door, and it locked them. So, you gotta watch out for that. If I didn't mention it, this has electric locks. We'll go ahead and cut it off. Well, I guess I'll go around here. You can hear the exhaust doesn't really sound bad. Only thing is, it comes out, you know, and it curves. It turns this way, because there's another muffler, and then it would come out and turn this way. So what I might do is just get a, you know, cut that elbow off, get a piece of pipe, and run it straight out here, because there's actually an indentation there. Yeah, you can't see it. There's an indentation there on both sides for where a muffler could, or a tailpipe could go. Because right now, when the vehicle stopped, all of that's just kind of coming up into here. They don't want any exhaust gases to find their way in the vehicle. So, yeah, there's that. But it doesn't sound bad. We might be looking at an alternator in the future. I don't know how well you can see it, but the lights are sort of flickering. And where the alternator is positioned on this car, it is getting bathed in oil from that valve cover gasket leak. So we might be looking at one of them soon, but we'll see. We'll go ahead and cut it off, and I'll demonstrate the electric locks. Now, you don't have any sort of a remote or anything. There are two ways of locking the vehicle. If you are in the car, you can see all of the locks are unlocked. You can push it down or pull it up, and it will just unlock and lock this door. But if you push it down and then push it down again, all of the other locks will lock. And then once again, you can pull it up, and it will just unlock this door. And then if you pull it up a second time, all of the other locks will follow. Now, if the door's open, you cannot lock this door. You cannot lock this door with this door open. So there's really no way to lock the keys inside of the car unless you close it, then reach through the window. But you can see that if I push it down, these will lock, but this one will not. So the only way to lock it from outside of the car is to put the key in and turn it, and you can see all of the locks will lock and unlock along with it. I don't know how well you can see those, but you can see they pop down and pop up. So if you turn the key in the door, all of the locks will follow. It's different on different 240s. My other 240, you could put the key in the door and lock the doors with it, but you could, if you just turned it, it wouldn't lock all the other doors. You had to turn it and then hold it for about 10 seconds. And some older ones, you can turn it and it'll lock it, and then you have to turn it a second time to lock the rest of them. Now, I haven't tried this keyhole, so let's see what this one does. Okay, this one does not actuate. This one will actuate the passenger door, but it will not actuate the rest of the electric locks. So I guess that's about all there is to say about this car. The antenna's a little bit loose, and by a little bit I mean it's gone flappy, but that's great. Needs a whole new antenna. The other car needs a new antenna too. I put a coat hanger on it. Supposed to have an electric antenna. I don't know why, but they always seem to get removed. Anyway, it's getting grainy because this camera doesn't like the dark, so we're going to go ahead and end it here. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.